Hi, I'm Susan Richardson, and thank you so much for joining me. My full length collection, Things My Mother Left Behind, has been out in the world for about 4 weeks, and I have been just overwhelmed by all of the support and kindness that I've received. I don't think I'm ever coming down off of this particular cloud. Um, I want to take this opportunity to thank my publisher, River Dixon, who is just the best publisher ever. It's been an amazing experience working with him, and I truly hope I get to do so again. I also want to thank my husband, Joe, who is my entire world. Um, Last time I read, I began with a poem that I wrote about my oldest friend. So I thought this time it would be a good idea to start with one I wrote about some new friends. It's called Perpetual Light and Motion. He opens his eyes, feels time creep along his back. The ache is only temporary. Music drifts in from the kitchen, his daughter singing, calling him to rise into the day. He hears his wife laughing and rushes to see what he has missed, eager to feel the warmth of them. They are the light that pours through clouds, watercolor summers that breathe so deeply the days seem to stand still. I asked him once, "How are your gorgeous girls?" "Flying," he told me. I thought of the sky, days in perpetual light and motion. I imagined he must always feel so warm, living in the palm of the sun. Hunted. I swallow the prickly echoes of my fear, faltering at the mouth of a street that flickers. Like prey, I wander into the camouflage of a darkening landscape and grasp at slivers of sun that taunt the vestiges of my vision. Twilight slips into the corner of my eye. I am hunted by an affliction that creeps covertly behind my eyes and chisels away the light, a slithering hum that heralds the shattering moon. The clamor surges against the sky, spackling my sight with shards of darkness. Nightfall eclipses the shape of my eye. I stagger through narrowing doorways, passages littered with veiled figures, and curves that send me careening into the serrated throats of tripwires. I fall at the feet of a malady that has no face. Blindness takes root behind my eye. Slipping beneath time. If I slip beneath time, race back to 17, will you stay with me, spreading poppies on the wind with your laugh, singing me awake on birthday mornings? If I smudge out history, pluck the weeds that death scattered between 20 and 30, will you save me? Pull me from the bottom of a bottle, shatter it against the sky. If I step into the sun, turn willingly toward 50, will you see me, youth pouring over my fingertips as the light is wiped from my eyes? This is called Bluebird. When his mind started to fade, my father made me promise to feed him to the fire, to set his body free. 2 weeks after he died, my husband and I drove through rush hour, wind creaking through the bones of our old forest green pickup truck. an engagement present from my father when he still knew my name. We drove in silence to collect what the flames had left behind. In the parking lot of the cremation center, I held my husband's hand, reluctant to step through the doors. Loose coins rattled against a spice jar hidden in my purse, watery crystal from an import shop, something to hold a piece of him until we could plant the ashes in a garden that wasn't yet ours. We were greeted in a dimly lit room by a young man with eager eyes and dark hair pressed into place with sticky gel. He spoke softly, gently, but still it startled me. "Did you bring an urn?" My breath caught behind my teeth, fingers hesitating against the spice jar. A woman wearing heavy black glasses that framed the condolence in her eyes led us down a hallway so quiet I could almost hear the grief that lingered in the soft brown fibers of carpet. We followed her over footfalls of sorrow into an office with 3 blank walls, the fourth dressed with a display of urns and resting containers for loved ones. On a high shelf, I spotted a white bird, smooth glass wings preparing for flight. "There's also a bluebird," she said, pointing to a stormy porcelain figurine perched beside an urn blooming with painted irises. "Blue, just like your eyes." I smiled, tears fresh on my cheeks. I have my father's eyes. Choreographed. He was an older boy, the first to put his fingers inside me, to kiss me with longing, tongue grazing my innocence like the lip of a flame. He was mine for a season, love caught up in the hands of danger and drugs. But I was made of glass and wouldn't let him break me. With the demise of leaves marking the end of autumn, he moved on to more experienced girls who put out, but evaded the moniker of slut by wearing their sadness on the inside. He flashed smiles and slipped beneath their skirts, but couldn't erase the whisper of me from his skin. I became something for him to conquer, to hold in the warmth of his mouth. I choreographed our first fuck, the burn of winter and cheap bourbon on my tongue. We met under the moon, got a little drunk to loosen our nerves, made out for an hour in the woods. Shivering as the snow fell around us, I took his hand and led him through a hidden door down into the basement of the girls' dormitory. I remember the dim light welcoming us in from the cold, the dusty mattress on the floor. I remember he put his jacket beneath me, his teenage version of chivalry, but I can't remember how it felt, if it was any good. I was only 15. The last poem that I'm going to read this afternoon is called Rosewater. Critics say I write too much of darkness, step too easily into waves of sorrow. So few see the side of me that blooms in color. Close your eyes, listen. The colors will come alive like the heartbeat tick of the clock. If you touch me like I am made of paper, thin and lined and blank, my scars will melt away, youth stretching its gossamer fingers to the surface. I will become the first poem you ever read, the verse of a song that touches your lips again and again. If I fashion my final resting place from petals, play you music that sits in your blood like a first kiss, The fragrance of these words may linger, a drop of rose water stashed away delicately in the back of your tongue. People who shine too brightly fade into shallow skies. I am a dim light, a warm mouth you can ease into, a whisper that slips inside you gently. Before you know it, I have swallowed your heart. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. If you are interested in buying a copy of my book, Things My Mother Left Behind, you can do so on Amazon. I'm also selling copies, signed copies, on my website, floweringinc.com. Thank you so much again for joining me, and have a lovely afternoon. Bye.